Wonderful. So Tim, welcome to the UnLearn show. If there's anything that people out there should know about you, I think one of the biggest things that each one of us is super impressed about, other than the fact that you're a Longhorn, is that you run one of the largest, and I don't know if it's the largest Facebook community group, Mentors and Mentees. And it's about fostering community, students, professionals, and you absolutely are one of those people that enables other voices. Can you just start right there for a little bit? Tell us a little bit about that. And then once you're done, Katie is going to be teed up. She's going to be the first host that wants to start this conversation.
Absolutely. So the Mentors and Mentees community on Facebook, one, I love that community. It's something I started actually by really being really active on LinkedIn. And I realized there was this opportunity to give a space, a shared resource where people can join and share advice, right? Provide insight, but also me play this component where I try to bring people together through, content sharing, thinking about live stream opportunities and seeing if I can get partnerships to support people in the community. So essentially, as you mentioned, it's about bringing people who believe in career mentorship, specifically, not youth mentorship, or just not generic mentorship, but career mentorship. And pretty much, giving them the space where they can ask questions, support each other, and I can do really cool things to activate them to be comfortable, right? So it's a solid safe space. And the community is essentially made up of people that I know, like you guys, some of you are in the community, and then people that I don't know, people who just find out about us on LinkedIn because people are sharing about the community and they love it so much. And the people that I meet along the way, and I'm like, hey, there's this community about this and that, and if you feel as if you have a perspective, join it, right? So it's a really organic thing that started by me being really active on LinkedIn, and people thought I had all the career advice, but I don't. I just have my perspective, and I feel as if really when it comes to your career and career mentorship, what makes a really good career is having different perspectives of advice, right? People who don't necessarily tell you this is how it should be, but kind of give you a guided direction. And the only way to have that is by kind of having a community of mentors and mentees who are always ready to jump in and get their perspective. So yeah, that's the Facebook
That's awesome
group.
Tim, so obviously I think you're awesome. You're the reason I started creating on LinkedIn, actually. So you do community building and mentoring. That's so cool. But so what, I guess, is your passion, your purpose? What is your why?
My why, so I actually shared this the other day for International Women's Day. My why is my family. I have to be honest with you. I'm an immigrant, so coming here to the States, I've seen my family make a lot of sacrifices. And when I think about the foundation of my why, it has to be going back and thinking about how can I, in my current position, in my current career arc, leave a legacy behind that will make my family proud, but also the communities that I'm a part of. Being a Nigerian immigrant, an African American, someone who sees an opportunity to fill a lot of different gaps in the world. How can I continue to achieve so I can make people proud, but essentially my family at the end of the day, because they're the ones who sacrificed so much to put me in this position of success, right? And in this direction of of success as well. So I really, when I think about my why, I always go back to will this make my family happy, right? Like if I'm doing this, will my mom say, "Oh my God, son, I'm proud of you," or my dad say the same? And will I be a good example for my sisters? So that's something that's always keeping me going, and it also kind of tracks into my passion of community building, because I found that what's made me the man I am today are the communities that I'm a part of, right? Whether it be my church community, the collegiate community that I, in terms of where I go to school, or the LinkedIn community, right? Like the people who I love interacting with every day online, and now the mentors and mentees community, right? Like community is essentially a component of my everyday life. So it makes me who I am.
That's awesome.
Cool. Tim, can you take us back to before you got into school? Like, so first off, when did you immigrate to the United States?
So I immigrated to the United States in 1999.
Okay. So you've been here, what? Gosh, that's what, 18, 19 years?
Yeah, 18 years now. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what that was like, kind of challenging wise, like how you have been shaped by being an immigrant a little bit, and how that's put you on this path career wise.
No, that's a great question. I think growing up, when I moved out here, I was 6. So growing up, I mean, I was raised on American soil. So a lot of the things that I was raised on American culture, Western culture, essentially. So I had to adapt, and acculturating from a different nation is not an easy transition, and it's really because almost like the society you come to doesn't make it easy. I think some of the, growing up here in the States, I definitely experienced my fair share of hardship. But it wasn't only my hardship specifically, but what I witnessed my parents experience. So moving here, I witnessed my parents having to like really change their careers, right? Because the education that they received in a different state, in a different country, totally didn't apply to what they would be doing in America. So they had to reskill, go back to school and find ways to adapt. So that adaptive nature of my parents was a real inspiration for me growing up. It allowed them to survive through a recession, finding a new home, moving us eventually to the burbs, and out of a very violent area in Houston. So I saw a lot of resilience in adaptation growing up. And I also saw a lot of, I think, cruelness in terms of like me growing up as an immigrant and seeing people like either make fun of me because of where I'm coming from or not understand difference. So I saw a lot of that growing up. And I think a lot of that didn't necessarily like affect me in a way where, it made me want to be like that, like cruel people. It just allowed me to kind of take notes and tell myself like in the long run, I don't want to, I don't want to either raise children in America like this or, contribute to this negativity and the stereotypical bias of how people see immigrants or people who are different than them. I'm someone that's going to always embrace difference and really push diversity. So, I mean, growing up, I saw a lot of that. So I think it really affected kind of where I am now and this mantra I follow in terms of like really having this diverse and community based approach to anything that I do. So yeah.
That's cool.
So that's awesome. I really love that you are so community based, and that kind of, I don't know, I see that permeating through everything that you do, regardless of the social platform. How do you see that propelling you into the future? Like, what do you see your future like?
So I'm a big, aside from being, so I have 4 tenets in my life that kind of like guiding principles that guide everything that I do. So it's mentorship, community, technology, and I'm actually a design nerd as well. So design. So these are 4 tenets. So that really kind of guide my focus in anything that I do. It's really around those like content that I share, the people that I connect with. It's around this like that those 4 components. So going into my future, I see a lot of what I'm doing in terms of community is being an integrationalist, right? There's a lot of efforts that I plan on launching in the future and integrating it with where technology is moving, which is really moving to push people together, right? In terms of helping people become more digitally savvy, more digitally literate. I, in my position, feel as if there's a huge opportunity for me to build those communities where I can maybe launch a program that can help people kind of like improve their digital skills or take advantage of how to use social tools like LinkedIn to become more proactive professionals and kind of take control of their careers. Having a mentorship platform, something I already have spurred with the Facebook community group, and really trying to launch that to something bigger and more greater than I ever could have imagined when I started 6 months ago. So when I think of community, I see it integrating in a lot of different facets of what I'm already good at, right? Whether it be design or me being a technologist, I can find ways to just like merge them all together. And it's a very integrationalist approach to kind of, where I see the world going, which is we need each other more than we need each other apart, right? We need each other together. So mentorship, thinking about ways that maybe I could bring elements of my design background to, form groups and just bring people together, interacting with each other. Like it's kind of like it's in my DNA, right? In terms of how I approach anything that I'm organizing or that the next opportunities in my career. So it could take form in a lot of different ways, but I've already kind of kickstarted it with some of the stuff that you guys mentioned with the community group, and it's only going to unfold.
Yep, that's brilliant.
It sounds like you're like the definition of a community builder, right? Because that's like your life purpose is building these awesome communities, which is everything at the end of the day. We're only as strong as the people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, and I don't know this, everybody else here might already know this, but why? Like what was that push that drove you to do this? Like what was that one moment where you're like, yeah, this is going to be a great idea. Let's just go down this path.
We're all on LinkedIn, and I'm sure a lot of our inbox is full. So I was like just getting a lot of different messages, like people asking me for career advice. And I'm like, I do not know everything. I am not the end all be all. I am not a career advice expert. I know a few things and that have really helped me shape my career, but all of what I know about like how to approach my career, how to be proactive, how to, get that next job or how to build those relationships. It's because I either studied people like you all who are sharing amazing content about how to think about these things, or I have people who are, within my, who are family to me or friends to me who are always sharing bits of wisdom, right? It's a perspective of ideas that have really helped me think about, okay, how do I approach my career? It's me really being resourceful and searching for that information. But when I get people coming to me and they want a list of like gems, and I'm like, yo, I don't know everything. Like I don't, and you have a specific situation that I may not have a background in, right? Like I may not be the expert to give you that advice. I may not really be it may not be me that you should be asking this question to, right? So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go to Facebook because Facebook's group functionalities are really, really robust, and it can allow you to do a lot of really cool things, which is why I love it. Let me go ahead and create a group that isn't about me. It's not about me. It's about people. It's about the people who need this type of space, the people who need career advice, the people who are going through things they can't find jobs or they need to vent about something in their careers. Let me go ahead and just create this space, and I'm going to be the admin. I'm going to be the builder. I'm going to be the person that's orchestrating it and thinking of ways to keep it active and really make sure that it's a participatory experience and that everyone gets something out of it, and it could be something greater. It can become its own brand, which it has. So that's really what spurred it. Just like I realized there was an inkling for that, and knowing that there's a lot of different resources out there for mentorship, I think what really makes what I have special is the fact that I'm making sure it's people-centric all the way through, and I'm finding different ways to bring the people who really need it in, right? It's not just for people who, want to sell their products in it. Like, no, it's about people who really actually need this space and want to use it to push themselves along. And, I'm going to continue to find strategic ways to make it special. So I think that's really what spurred it for me.
That's awesome. So Tim, you're sharing so much about others, right? You talk a little bit, first of all, thanks for sharing about your tenets about mentorship, community, technology, design. You talked at the very beginning about family and of course, diversity, being an immigrant, and myself being an immigrant too. I would love to ask you, so it's kind of a two-part question, but you've talked so much about everybody else and we absolutely appreciate that, but it's the UnLearn show. I'm going to put you on the spot, and if it makes you feel uncomfortable, you certainly don't have to answer it. But what we want to know and what I want to know is, what was something that you had to unlearn yourself that directly to, this is the second part of the question, is leading to some, you just briefly mentioned it about this huge goal or something that's out there. So what's something you had to unlearn that is leading to this big, crazy goal that you would love to see yourself accomplish? Not others, you.
Yeah. I think one thing I've had to unlearn is that it's not about competition. I think that when I was younger, that I thought that I needed to be the best. I don't necessarily have to be the best. Like, I have to be strategic. I have to be creative. But I think that growing up, I've always been in this competitive atmosphere, this competitive mindset that I have to compete with people. But I don't. I have a lot of interesting qualities about me and strengths, whether it be me being able to communicate, collaborate, leadership wise, whatever it is, that, you know, every time I put myself in this competitive mindset, I didn't do good. I didn't feel good about myself, right? Whether it be trying to get the best grades in class, or, you know, trying to be the best basketball player in high school, or, you know, like, I don't have to compete. Like, I really don't have to compete. I can be creative. And being creative is all about understanding, like, what can I do differently than other people? Like, what are my strengths, and how can I help? How can I use my strengths to work for me, right? How can I use them to form my approach to this grand idea that I want to see myself achieve in life, or this pinnacle of where I see myself in the next 10 to 20 years. So really understanding that competition isn't my strength. Like, I'm not I'm not looking to compete. I'm really looking to collaborate. I'm looking to act as a platform for other people, and that's really where I do really well. And that's where I shine, and that's where I think I've been able to find my passion. So that's something I had to learn very actually recently. And since I've unlearned it, I found my stride in life. I swear to you, and it's made me a better person to people, and I think a better person to become.
That's awesome. That is awesome. The other co-hosts, do we have any other questions that we wanted to ask to Tim, or would we like to give Tim the opportunity to ask something of us?
That always gets fun.
Tim, you know who to ask first now, right? Awesome. So if there's no follow-up from us, Tim, we'd love to give you the last 4 or 5 minutes here. You're welcome to ask anything of us, or if you just want to have a conversation, or even if you want to just share anything else, really the last 4 to 5 minutes is your time.
Let's do this, because this is a great opportunity for me to formally get to know you all. So let's start with Sonny. I want to hear your why.
Oh,
I think I have an idea, but I want to hear it. What's your why?
awesome. So my why in terms of what would you like to hear?
In terms of life mission.
That's a great question. So my why has, much like you, has evolved, right? It's, you know, I have a 2.5-year-old. So after becoming a dad, parenthood has all just automatically kind of risen to the top of the priority list for me. And so it's, you know, a fan of 3, right? So it's always about focus, collaboration, which I love the fact to use that, and then inspiration. And so much like you and much like the others that are on this, you know, in this show, and that I get the absolute pleasure to work with, it's how do I find common goals that other people are super passionate about, or that drives them? And then how do I complement them? So how do I bring my strengths to the table to make those happen? So that's the focus for me, is how do I help others to achieve what they want to do? Because for me, that second one, that collaboration is, you know, my life experiences are so varied that I want to bring those to the table to help them achieve what they want to do. And the inspiration is ultimately home, right? So I want to leave this place, this community, this world, this, you know, the social impact out there. I want to leave this place a better place for but I want to give him the opportunities to rise to the top and make his own choices and to do great things with himself. And so for me, I say it from my why is to help others, because ultimately I know it's going to help me to be a better human being at the end of the day.
I love it. Thank you so much. All right, so next question. You guys have been doing the UnLearn show for quite some time now. What have been, one, a few of your favorite episodes? or big takeaways from you guys in terms of like seeing the show progress? And we can start with Jake.
Takeaways are that it's always better when it's not about us, when it's about them, because people are just awesome, and I think that's why we all get along so well on the panels. We all just love people and the stories and the growth and the inspiration that goes on. You know, and the fact that we get to sit and just really sit and have a conversation and understand people and hopefully lift them up, you know, and put them in a place where whatever it is that their particular voice is, whatever it's on, that we somehow get to help them spread that message by being a platform. And then in the process, selfishly, we learn and get to, you know, be a part of their journey. For me, that's a big part of why I do it, is because kind of the big why for me is helping others share their voice. And so this is a great way to do that for me personally. I don't have a favorite, so that's like, who's your favorite kid? You know, it's like Sonny's his own. That's his favorite kid, but I can't give you a favorite.
True. Good answer.
Yeah, I think it's one of the big takeaways for me from this show is kind of to touch on what you said about just different perspectives. So like really getting to dig a little deeper into people's backstories and why they're doing what they're doing and what's fueled their why, essentially. And I love that one of my main goals when I first started creating on LinkedIn was to make sure that everybody knew or was able to express that they're human and that they have failures, they have things that they're not good at, they have things that have happened to them, traumas that they're dealing with and everything like that. And so to really humanize people on this platform has been amazing for me. Because I think a lot of times, you know, social media platforms, people think that these people that they see that are getting huge engagement and everything are just like larger than life, and they don't have the human side of them that they still have and they're still trying to manage. So I think that that's been one of the big takeaways for me. Anybody else?
Okay.
Do it.
So, am I on mute? I'm not on mute, right? Okay. Agree 100%. Like, you can't pick a favorite because every single person brings an entirely new perspective, right? Like, it's been so crazy. Goldie Chan, when she was on here and she was talking about leading with love, it was like, I walked away from that session feeling like a better person, not because of, I got to talk with Goldie Chan, but because she, like, her heart just is, her love, like leading with love is so freaking contagious. Yeah. And then you had other people like Cena, who was on here, and he was talking about his community and perspective and overcoming challenges, and everybody brings a different nugget to the table. Q, seriously, everybody has their own unique story, and being able to have the opportunity to sit down and like kind of walk in their shoes just for a few minutes, it's a beautiful, beautiful gift. Yeah. That's my favorite part.
That's true. A lot of different narratives.
Yeah.
Katie?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna mimic what everyone else said. You literally can't pick like one episode because you do just like take nuggets from each one. Like, it's been such a cool experience because like we hang out like all the time, like virtually. And so we've kind of like grown together in that way. And then like bringing in all these different personalities and like just being able to like take in that information and then do what we will with it in our worlds, so it's just it's definitely been a journey, one of my favorite journeys so far, for sure. So yeah.
Agreed.
Tim, outside of this episode, which is your favorite episode?
I would have to say the one with Manu was really good, and that was really recent though.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to Manu before, and just like what the energy that he brought to the table, and the questions he asked were like, "Dang, these are good."
I
These are
stole
really good.
those.
Hey,
I stole those.
Yeah.
No,
Well, yeah.
he was crazy.
Like,
Thinker. Well, thinker.
well, I can tell you this, Tim. I think for all of us, you know, and echoing everything that everybody's been saying, you know, the best thing is that we actually started this, right? So that we've started something that if others can learn from it, including ourselves, you know, the guests come on, and if we build these relationships virtually and then we can take them offline, which you hear that a lot now, a lot of wonderful things going on. We hope that each one of us gets a chance to be a part of those things, or that we help to inspire others, and you know, just basically let people know that, you know, Lacey said this, right? It's, we're not larger than life. Katie said this. It's, how do you take all of this and we get to hang out and spend this time with people we love and care about? You know, Chantel and Jake both said that, you know, this is, I mean, there's certain people that you saw each of our faces light up, right? I mean, that's that genuine, you know, touching the heart and making us feel a certain way. That's what this show is all about, right?
UnLearn show.
Yep.
Learn
Tim,
show.
thank you so much for giving us a little bit of time on a Saturday morning, especially because of South by Southwest. We love to find out how it goes. And of course, we're all excited and wish we could be there as well. I think, actually, Katie, aren't you doing something special there, right?
Yeah, what are you doing tonight, Tim? You want to hang out? You want to go party?
Oh, are you coming tonight?
Yeah, I'm leaving after like probably here in a couple of hours.
Wow.
Jake, are you going?
No, I got work. I'm a Sunday worker.
Sad.
Jake's like, I'm a grown man. I gotta work.
So Tim, once again,
I will. I'll shoot you a text.
All right.
once again, Tim, thank you so much for making some time. Have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. If there's anything we can ever do, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. If there's something you think that we'd be a great fit for, even if it's as individuals, we love to keep this kind of dialogue going. So thank you once again from all of us.
Thank you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate it so much for having me on the UnLearn show. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.